Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this beautiful Monday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, sports, and so much more. I am Glenora Shipura. Starting us off in the news tonight, the High Court judges Philanda Christian and Naomi Shivute today overturned Keetmanshoop magistrate's ruling and granted bail to Charmaine Klute, one of the suspects linked to the $314.9 million Namdeb diamond heist. Klute, who was arrested 8 months ago in Keetmanshoop alongside her husband George and his brother Bino Klute, was initially denied bail by the local magistrate. However, the judges found that the magistrate had relied on speculation and hearsay. The judgment reads that the magistrate misdirected himself by failing to properly consider whether Klute's continued detention was necessary in the interest of justice. She was granted $50,000 bail under strict conditions, including daily reporting to the police and a ban on applying for a passport. She is prohibited from contacting any witnesses, must surrender her passport and report to the police twice daily. She is also restricted from leaving the Keetmanshoop district without permission from the investigating officer. In their ruling, the judges said the magistrate did not give sufficient weight to the personal circumstances of the appellant and the presumption of innocence. They highlighted that Klute is a mother of two with no previous convictions and has been cooperative with investigators. The mere seriousness of the charges cannot be the sole reason to deny bail. Each case must be decided on its own facts and the circumstances of the individual, the judges said. Now, they added that there was no evidence before the court that Klute was a flight risk or that she would interfere with state witnesses. Klute and her two co-accused face charges under the Prevention of Organized Crime Act and the Diamond Act. In our next story, the Ministry of Health and Social Services today launched its new strategic plan and universal health coverage policy aimed at strengthening healthcare delivery across Namibia. Health Minister Dr. Esperance Lovedao said the plan focuses on improving access to quality services, promoting health education at community level, and ensuring that public health facilities meet the same standards for everyone, from ordinary citizens to top officials. Still with that same story, Minister Dr. Esperance Lovedao urged the Namibia health sector to abandon in crisis-driven habits and embrace a culture of prevention, accountability, and efficiency as the country charts a new course for public health. Now, speaking at the launch of the Ministry of Health and Social Services Strategic Plan 2025 to 2030 and the Universal Health Coverage Policy in Windhoek, Lovedao said the two frameworks mark a decisive move towards a proactive, people-centered health system that works for every Namibian. Moving on to our next story, the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Indileni Daniel, said the elephant bull that was put down near Onawa village in the Umusati region on Saturday posed a serious threat to human life. In a press statement issued on Sunday, Daniel said the ministry had to take difficult but necessary decisions to kill the animal after several days of unsuccessful attempts to guide it safely back to Etosha National Park. This decision was taken with great reluctance and only after several days of intensive monitoring and repeated unsuccessful efforts to safely guide the animal back to the national park, she said. Now, Daniel said the elephant was first sighted in the Oshiva Rundu area following the recent wildfires that spread from Etosha into the north-central regions. Driven by instinct, it moved northward away from the burned terrain. On the 8th of October, it was seen near Onkani village heading northwest. She said MEFT officials tracked its movement closely and attempted to redirect it towards the park. Daniel said despite these efforts, the elephant kept advancing into densely populated areas, including Onanaka and Onanda villages, before crossing both the Oshakati Okahau and Oshakati Otapi roads. Along the way, it damaged infrastructure and heightened public fear. She said by 11th of October, the elephant had reached Onawa village close to residential areas and schools, with panic escalating among residents and the risk to human life becoming imminent. MEFT was compelled to make the difficult decision to put the animal down to prevent potential harm, Daniel stated. She said the ministry strongly condemns the circulation of graphic images of the dead elephant on social media, calling such acts disrespectful and harmful to both wildlife and communities. She reaffirmed Namibia's commitment to coexistence between humans and wildlife, stressing that the incident underscores the urgent need for more education and awareness on human-wildlife conflict, particularly during environmental crises. Botswana's President Advocate Duma Boko has called for the speedy implementation of agreements signed at the recently concluded bi-national commission between the country and Namibia, saying it is for the benefit of the citizens of both countries. Botswana and Namibia signed 8 bilateral agreements in the areas of transport, agriculture, security, and trade. Have a look.
They must be time-bound. We must put down timelines, strict timelines, and stick to those timelines. Because we have a revolution to effect on the African continent, in our countries. And a revolution is not endless, it's not amorphous, it's not shapeless. And a revolution is sometimes convulsive. Causes ruptures, it causes uncertainty, causes discomfort. It's a revolution, that's what it is. And it is not indeterminate. It has to achieve outcomes within a period of time. And so, many of these programs that we are looking at here, these memoranda that we will sign, how much time do we have before we see tangible results, sounding in jobs, in improved livelihoods, in improved infrastructure, in enhanced opportunities for growth and collaboration? How much time are we ascribing to them? These are the elements, in my humble view, that will enable us to provide formidable answers to the problem of context and contextuality, question the challenge of solidarity, and that will determine whether we are doubters or doers.
That concludes our top stories. On the other side of the break, in our community talk, we will be taking a look at what the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Youth, Civic Relations and Community Development had in terms of engagements. We'll be right back after this. In our community talk, Deputy Chairperson of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Youth, Civic Relations and Community Development, Austin Samupua, said during the committee's visit to Kavango East today that the government is constructing a new school near Diona Secondary School to ease overcrowding. He noted that the school currently accommodates over 1,000 learners, of which more than 300 are expected to be transferred to the nearby Diona Project School. Samupua, however, expressed concern that only 4 classrooms are being built, urging authorities to expand the project to ensure effective learning. Have a look.
At Diona Secondary School, grade 6, these learners are about 65 in one class. Having come from the Diona Project School, where we were just now, which school government of the Republic of Namibia is building in order to decongest this school here. This is a typical class here, which has necessitated that DRN must build another school that side of the road. so that about 350 learners must move from here to that school. But what we learned there is that only 4 classrooms are being constructed against the 350 learners who must move to that school. Meaning, Parliament is calling upon all of us to ensure that as the learners move there, we have built extra classrooms as well so that we decongest this school because it is completely full to the capacity and there is no space in this school. And in these circumstances, education does not take place as is desired by the parents and the government. So this is the scenario, and it is not healthy.
Up next is our economic news, and getting right into it. The municipality of Walvis Bay, in partnership with the Namibia Green Hydrogen Association, the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, and the Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, hosted an agreement on green hydrogen employment and local content opportunities on Friday at Protea Hotel in Walvis Bay. In her address, the Chief Executive Officer of the municipality of Walvis Bay, Victoria Kapenda, emphasized the town's readiness to position itself as a strategic hub to green hydrogen and related industries. She highlighted the municipality's proactive approach to land allocation and investment facilitation, noting that although infrastructure development remains a challenge, collaborative efforts with investors and government agencies are underway to accelerate progress. She explained that industrial developments are being prioritized at Farm 58, designated for heavy industries such as clean energy projects, and Farm 38 earmarked for light industrial activities. Meanwhile, Farm 37 continues to serve as a major housing development initiative aimed at addressing urban expansion and informal settlement challenges. The CEO also called for stronger partnership between the municipality, investors and local businesses to ensure sustainable development, urging companies to present detailed business and development plans when applying for land. Representing NAMGA, an Italian-based renewable energy developer, outlined their green hydrogen and ammonia production project, which will be implemented in collaboration with Hub Hydro, a Namibian partner. The project includes the development of a solar photovoltaic field and a hydrogen production plant at Farm 58, with plans to export approximately 500,000 tons of green ammonia annually. The developer explained that the project will source seawater for desalination and utilize renewable electricity to produce hydrogen, which will then be converted into ammonia for international export markets. The initiative is projected to create 4,700 local jobs during construction and 330 permanent jobs during operations. Next up is our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.38, against the euro at 20.34, against the US dollar at 17.50 to Namibian dollars and 45 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold, copper, platinum and Brent crude oil went up, while Brent crude oil is trading at 0.35%, going for $63 and 93 cents per barrel. Getting into our international news, Mali has introduced visa bond requirements for United States citizens, mirroring measures recently imposed by Washington on Malian travelers. The Foreign Ministry in Bamako announced the decision on Sunday, calling it a reciprocal response to U.S. rules set to take effect on October 23rd that will require Malian businesses and tourist visa applications to post bonds of $5,000 to $10,000 US. Mali says the U.S. policy violates a 2005 bilateral accord guaranteeing long-term visa access and vowed to apply identical conditions for U.S. passport holders. In its statement, the ministry stressed it has long worked with Washington on curbing irregular migration with respect for law and human dignity, but would honor reciprocity. The U.S. move is part of a year-long pilot targeting countries with high visa overstays overstay rates rather. Mali was added in October alongside Mauritania, Sao Tome and Principe and Tanzania. Other nations in the program include Gambia, Malawi and Zambia. Under the scheme, travelers must pay bonds in advance via the U.S. Treasury Department and enter through 3 designated airports. The funds are refunded if they leave before their visa expires, but withheld for overstays or asylum claims. Standard visa fees also apply. U.S. officials say the measure responds to national security concerns, citing Homeland Security figures showing more than 300,000 overstays in 2023. Critics argue the bond could deter legitimate visitors and hurt tourism ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. In our next story, an 11-year-old boy has allegedly shot and killed a farm worker while attempting to shoot at Guinea Fowls on a farm in South Africa, police say. According to the police, the child accidentally discharged the firearm, though the exact circumstances of the shooting are still under investigations. His 43-year-old father has been arrested and is expected to be charged with negligent handling of a firearm. The two are due to appear in court on Monday. Police said they were alerted to the shooting and on arrival at the scene discovered the body of a man believed to be in his 30s lying on his side with a gunshot wound. He was declared dead at the scene. Saturday's shooting in Thaba-Zimbi, Limpopo province has renewed concern over firearm safety and parental responsibility in the country. The firearm was seized as evidence. This heartbreaking incident serves as a reminder that firearms must be handled with the utmost care and stored securely at all times. Limpopo Police Chief Thembi Hadebe said. She added that parents and guardians have a responsibility to ensure that children do not have access to firearms under any circumstances. Local media report that the incident has deeply shocked the local farming community and raised public concern about the risk of children accessing weapons in rural households. Earlier this month, police said they had opened a murder charge against an 8-year-old boy after he fatally shot his 7-year-old cousin with his father's firearm in Eastern Cape province. His 48-year-old father was charged with failure to safeguard the firearm. That concludes our international news. We now dive to the weather predictions. The capital city can expect a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius with sunny weather conditions, while Gobabis can expect a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius with partly cloudy conditions. Arensvlei can expect a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius with sunny weather conditions, while Handys Bay can expect a minimum of 12 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 18 degrees Celsius with sunny weather conditions. We now take a look at the world of sports with Sports Wrap.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with the 50-over World Cup, Women's World Cup taking place in India and Sri Lanka at the moment. In the latest game, it was Australia with an impressive win against India, one of the hosts, and it was India that batted first. They scored 330 runs, and it was Australia that scored 331 for the loss of 7 wickets to win the game by 3 wickets. So it's an impressive win for Australia. They're now top of the log of the 8 teams. It was Alyssa Healy that scored 142 runs for Australia from 106 deliveries only. So she was the hero in Australia's big run chase. So the next game for Australia will be against Bangladesh. That will be on Thursday. Moving on to tennis news, on the ATP Men's Tour, it was the Shanghai Masters, a thousands tournament, and a great result for Valentin Vacherot. He's from Monaco. He beat his cousin Arthur Rinkerneck of France in 3 sets by 4-6, 6-3 and 6-3. So both these players unseeded. So it's a great story. It is Vacherot that only previously played on the Challenge Tour, and it's his first ATP Tour win. Actually, before this, he only had 1 victory on the ATP Tour. So he won the thousands tournament, and he's now moved up from number 204 in the world rankings all the way up to number 38 in the top 50 of the world ranking. So a great result by Valentin Vacherot. On his way to winning the tournament, he also beat Novak Djokovic. More tennis news is from the Wuhan Open. It was a WTA women's side of World Tennis. It's Coco Gauff of the USA beat Jessica Pegula, also of the USA, by 6-4 and 7-5 to win the title. So early in the tournament, it was Pegula that knocked out the number 1 seed, Aryna Sabalenka, to play in the All-American final. To close off today's international sports news, it is rugby news from the United Rugby Championship, and after 3 rounds of rugby rather, it is the Stormers of Cape Town that's leading at the moment with Munster. They're both on 14 points and followed by Glasgow Warriors and also Cardiff on 11 points. Over the weekend, it was the Stormers with the only win from the 4 South African teams. All 4 teams played away. The Stormers beat the Scarlets by 34 points to 0, and it was the Bulls, the Lions and the Sharks all took big losses over the weekend. All 4 teams will still play their next round, then round 4, still in Europe this coming weekend. So that's international sports news for today. I hope you have a great sport day. We talk international sport again tomorrow.
That was Ari Hochard with the sports news, and with that we have come to the end of the broadcast. Don't forget that Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's actually from every Monday to Thursday, 7:30 p.m. And you can also catch it on our website, 1up2.com. This has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.